I spend the bulk of my time in the studio with ceramic sculpture. In coming to art, I came drawing portraits, making prints, but as time went on, I found that ceramic sculpture really began to draw me in until it has me in its complete hold at this point. The kinesthetic feel of the material, the push and pull of the surface, these are elements that create a perfect ground for me to take a look at exactly what it is that I'm thinking. I find the relationship of human and animal to be most compelling. The animal in humans, the human in animals, the ambiguity of that mix. And I find that when I'm creating, this is where I enter. When I have an animal that I'm working on, I find that still at the end I'm looking at the animal, and I do find the humanness still is there because it's telling my story. I try to get the wildness in. I try to get, I will attempt to get an animal that looks really like it's just coming out of the wildness of itself. But I always find that the human aspect is in there. That's the way my hands and mind and heart work on these animals. I approached Equinox through what is available in terms of light and dark. What is available to us, when, and how is it that we know that it's available? In the two masks that I created, I approached the spring equinox, the light of that, and I approached the autumn equinox when the deeper mysteries are available. And with my bear, I approached the leave taking of hibernation, the twilight that enwraps the bear, and the birds, which are the celestial beings that connect earth and heaven into a complete element here. I've been very happy to be part of this exhibit. It has shown me even more elements of lightness, darkness, what's available, and how to work with it. Soft moon rising, micaceous clay, copper, cloth, feathers, natural stone. Mask making provides the maker with an ancient and compelling vehicle to share ideas. Masks invite the viewer in. The vacant eye cavities set that edge of inner and outer perspectives. Am I looking out or am I being looked at? In creating these two masks, I followed my sensibility of the two equinoxes. Equinox sets for us the never-ending cycle of birth and death, beginnings and endings. In Soft Moon Rising, I played with the spring equinox, the return of light and life. A human face with horns calls to our animality. The horns frame in a full moon which is lifted by feathers I collected on the beach at Lake Michigan. The moon is depicted by a crocheted openwork mat left behind by a now anonymous woman. These exquisite works of art are frequently found in estate sales at a negligible cost. This was the art that women in my grandmother's generation engaged in. I honor these anonymous artists in the rising of this soft moon. Autumn returns. Ceramic, wood, natural stone. Here I moved to the autumn equinox. I found myself drawn to the myth of Demeter as I worked. Eleusis is a city in Greece not far from Athens and is the site of the ancient Eleusinian rites. These rituals signified the myth of Demeter and Persephone. The rituals are wrapped in mystery because they speak of a deeper sensibility that rests in this myth. They were enacted twice a year at the equinoxes. The lesser mysteries took place in the spring when the world came back to life, but the greater mysteries occurred during the September equinox when the darkness began to take over the light. Here in the mask Autumn Returns, I play with that moment where light and dark in perfect balance begins its turn to darkness while still holding Earth's celestial light. Spring moon, ceramic, gilder's paste, and wood. The bear has been venerated as a magical spiritual animal since Paleolithic times, residing in shamanic rites, myths, fairy tales. With its cycle of hibernation, the bear is familiar with death and is able to move between worlds. Standing in twilight, freshly awakened from her little death in spring, the bear has been roused by the moonlight. Companion birds forming a link between heaven and earth restlessly announce the turning of seasons.